Today's topic is RACI matrix. We also know it as responsibility assignment matrix. So I'll start by thank you all for joining in. So we will start the session. In case of any questions, you can actually directly ask the questions in the meeting itself. You don't have to wait till the end. So okay, so what are we here for exactly? What are we trying to solve with RACI matrix? Okay, is basically this. This right now, if you see, you don't know whom one person is pointing at. It's like everyone is pointing at different person. So this is exactly what happens when we don't have anyone person who is accountable for something. Okay, so when I say accountable, it is basically the person who is in charge of that, who has to get it done. And there's two things now over here. So one is accountability, one is responsibility. So there might be scenarios wherein you are doing the work, but someone else is getting affected by that, like, or getting is held accountable for it. Okay, so for explaining much more in detail, I'll take an example of football. Okay, hope everyone watches football, and hopefully you know this person as well. So this guy is Jose Mourinho. Okay, he's a manager of a lot of clubs. Okay, but the thing is, he never plays football. Right? There are 11 players who are actually performing over there. So their responsibility is actually to go over there, win the match, okay, or score goals. But this person is held accountable at the end of the match if something goes wrong. Now, if everything goes well, there's no one you want to hold accountable. It's celebration time. But if something goes wrong, it's that time you have to actually have someone who you can look, okay, why did that go wrong and how we can improve. So this is basically how it is done in football. Okay, now going next to cricket. Hopefully, if you don't watch football, then maybe cricket. So now same type of sport, like it's like 11 players are playing. The coach is not playing over here, and but here the actually accountable person is the captain, who is actually one of the players who is playing over there. So you see, there is a bit of difference between accountability and responsibility. So the responsible people are actually doing the work, but the accountable person is basically the in charge of getting the things done. So why Virat Kohli, as in the captain, is held accountable? Because he actually sets the tactics on the ground. So when the manager or the coach is outside, he doesn't have control over the things. It's the captain. So different sports, there are different people who are responsible and different people who are held accountable. So with that, I think we'll start with asymmetry. Any questions over here, you can actually jump in and ask those. Okay, I'll go to the next one. So I think Mujamal, you can take over.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Akhil. Okay, so let us know like what is RACI matrix. Okay, so basically this RACI matrix is a method, or you can even say this technique to identify key objectives, functional areas, and decision points where ambiguities exist. So extra identify all activities and decision that must be done or made to run the day-to-day business effectively. So there are basically 4 rules we can define, like we can map out who is responsible, accountable, must be consulted with, and shall stay informed. So let us know more details about those roles. Okay, so here as you see, responsible, so that means who is responsible, right? So the person who working under direction and completing the task. So actually the person who actually do the job or do the work, so that person we are calling responsible. Then who is accountable? So person who is making decisions and taking actions on the task and answerable to management. Okay, so maybe like who are held accountable by the top management, right? Then consulted, person who will be communicated with regarding the decision making process. and specific tasks can provide feedback. So sometimes consulted, even we can call them a subject matter expert. So let me give an example. So in our case in SJ Innovation, we can call TLs, all TLs as a consultant, right? Before we need them for before making any crucial decision or important decision regarding to project, because they are expertise on that area or field. Okay, then let us move to inform. So person who will be updated on decisions and actions during the work or projects. So in that case, we can say like client can be an informed person, right? So who always actually we need to inform about the update. Yeah. So Akhil, can you please go to next slide? Okay, so let us know a little bit about this racimetrics history. So actually no single person or there is no real name like who actually invented this racimetrics process, but it seems to be have been created around the 1950s, and in the 1970s it took the name of responsibility attribution matrix, what actually I mentioned earlier. So these actually racimetrics represent a organization's two major or important part, which is like project breakdown structure and organizational structure of the project. And this racimetrics actually has been used extensively in project management because evolved towards result, and also on variety of projects like HR projects, construction projects, logistics projects, etc. And some of the brand companies also using racimetrics. One example is IBM. So when actually they moved to the cloud, so that time it was become difficult for them to know the development and operational processes. So that time IBM actually implemented this racimetrics process, and they have resolved the issues. Another example is Instagram, like how they actually unlock the high speed innovation decisions. Yep. Akhil, yeah.
Akhil, you're mute.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, basically, when you need this RACI matrix, you won't actually apply it everywhere. It will be actually applied only where there is certain problem. As I said earlier, only when there is bad outcome, we know, okay, we had to hold someone accountable. So something was wrong, right? So what things could be wrong and where we can actually apply it better. These are some of the scenarios. So I don't know what to do here. So if any person doesn't know what he needs to do over there, that's a trigger point. You know, okay, if there was something which was in place, could have actually helped. You would have taken some steps earlier to actually solve those. So similarly, there are more points like this. I don't know whom to go for authorization. Then it's too late that I should have informed someone. So the person did not know that he should have informed someone once the thing is done. So if you complete something and you are sitting there, but your PM or your manager is waiting on it, he doesn't know that you have already done it. So this type of things needs to be solved, and that can be actually solved using RACI metrics. So let's see some more examples. I could have helped, but no one asked me. I have the responsibility, but not the powers to get the job done. No one is prepared to make a decision. So these are very important things that actually hold up the work. But if placed properly, or if someone is responsible to take actions, he will take actions. Or if he doesn't take action, you can actually ask him, or you can hold him accountable for that. So things are going unnoticed, and then therefore is getting neglected. And I'm doing work that is part of someone else's job. So these are some of the problem points which I think some of this you will be able to relate to. But yeah, this there will be more of this, but in case you find, okay, or you know that, okay, this kind of things can happen, you actually don't know how the things are going to get done, you have not assigned role to each member, then it's better to have RACI metrics in place where you can actually see who all is accountable, who is responsible, if you have a problem, whom to reach out to, and then the person who is to be informed once the things are done, or if there is any meetings which are going to be happening. So this all can be actually put on paper using RACI metrics. Okay, I think this one, Mojamal.
Yeah, so this is another example of like what just Akhil said, like about the, I mean, ambiguities, right? So this is an example of everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. So as you see about this history, like everybody was asked to do a project activity. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody would not do it. So consequently, it wound up that nobody would told anybody. So everybody blamed somebody. Yeah. So this is the scenario. Actually, it happened like when there is ambiguities, and like always there is always everybody. There is always actually somebody to blame, right?
You don't want to end up with something like this at the end of the project.
Right. Yeah. So this like how to make RACI work for you. So a RACI chart informs every stakeholder about person's workload, as it shows which functional roles are assigned to each person. The organization can see if someone has been placed in the responsible role too many times or not. In other words, does this person have too many or too few particular tasks to complete? This reduces miscommunication and increases productivity. So if a task was incorrectly completed, RACI tells you who was involved and ultimately accountable. So in short, RACI makes it easier for you to have the right conversation with the right people, in turns saving everyone's time. Yeah, Akhil, please go ahead.
Yeah, so how to make your own RACI metrics. So as we talked, right, all this RACI, so what exactly you need to do when you are actually doing this RACI metrics, okay? It's basically a chart. First thing what you need to do is identify the roles. So basically you have this chart, and then you identify and place the roles at the top in the first row, okay? So you assign each member to that role as well. The next step will be actually identifying the task or the deliverables or the objectives, whatever it is, wherever you want to actually place some order to it or place someone's name. So there's accountability which is placed on it. So that you will do and put it on the very first column, and then you start assigning the responsibility or accountability, each mapping you will be doing over here. Okay, so this actually is a good practice and needs to be done at very start of the project. So everyone in the project, actually this is, if you can relate, if when we are doing the mind map session, if we can actually have a few minutes and do this as well, everyone should be able to actually know what exactly is required from them on that project. So this needs to be done at the very start of the project. Next is the agree on the chart with your team. So this actually can be done in the mind map session itself. So everyone, whoever is working on the project will be present in the meeting itself, and you can actually do it and then agree on it. Next one will be agree on this with core project stakeholders. So everyone, like even your management or your client can be shown this RACI metrics, and they, if their involvement is required, I think surely their involvement will be there. Like consultancy and informed part should be present for client as well. Like in case you need something from their side, then you can actually map them also over here. And the last important thing is make it useful throughout the life of the project. So it doesn't make sense you creating this and no one following after implementing this. It will be just waste of time, and it won't actually help, or you need to follow it continuously throughout the project. So there's continuous what do you call it, continuity, rather than you do it for a certain task and then you stop doing it and then you start it again later on. So if someone was supposed to be held accountable and is not, and then later on you come and then say, okay, you should have done that, that doesn't make sense, because it's probably unfair to that person, right? So this needs to be actually followed entirely throughout the life of the project. Yeah, next is the demo, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, just click on this. Yeah, let us go through the template. Okay, so this is the in general template. So like a project activity wise, maybe we can define those these RACI metrics as per the roles and activities. So as you see on the left side under this project activity, so there are I mean project activities like kickoff, mind map, sprint planning, sprint review, daily scrum, weekly demo, then Fika states update, monthly billing, all those activities which are project related, right? And on the top, I mean those header, we have defined the roles like client, finance manager, assistant manager, project coordinator, tech lead, developer, QA, server team, BD team, other pod. Okay, so let us see an example like kickoff. So you all know, like when we initiate the project, the very beginning or the very first step is kickoff meeting, right? Where actually we invite our clients so and teams so that we can have the basic I mean introduction. Then we discuss about our strategies and planning, how can we execute this. So in that case, like as you see, project manager is the accountable person because who will organize this event. Then project coordinator is the responsible person. Then tech lead, developer, QA needs to be informed as well, manager, assistant manager, and client. Okay, second one is mind map session. So this is also another important meeting where actually we discuss like all the I mean technical requirement, how can we execute this, and if any team member has any question related to any technical requirement, right? Then both PM actually try to discuss from the business perspective, and TL actually clarify all the technical related things to team member. So here, as you see, project manager again, he is the person, accountable person, project coordinator, responsible person, tech lead, consultant, then developer informed, QA informed, client informed, manager, assistant and manager, they all are informed, right? So that they all, I mean, can join all together on the mind map session. So next, let us see what happened on sprint planning meeting. So same thing, project manager is accountable, project coordinator is responsible. Then we need input from both tech lead, developer and QA, right? So that we can decide, okay, so which task we can refine and we can pull from product backlog to next sprint backlog. Then sprint review meeting, so same thing. Okay, so let us discuss another, the different one. Suppose this monthly billing. Okay, so here actually, as you see, finance needs to be informed. Then manager actually here accountable, right? Then assistant manager is responsible. Then project manager is consulted. Project coordinator consulted. Okay, so here actually, as you see, TL, developer, QA, other team members has no involvement. Same thing for the last one, project closes. So when a project is done and we are in a stage to close the project, so that time we need to consult with client because we need their feedback or opinion, right? Ultimately, they are the I mean a decision maker. They will give us the confirmation if that project is I mean done or not. So we need to consult with them before closing a project. Then we need to inform finance so that they can prepare all those, I mean, payment or check the due payment from the client side. And ultimately, manager is the accountable person to close this. Then assistant manager is responsible. project manager responsible, project coordinator responsible, and tech lead needs to be consulted, and developer needs to be consulted. And also, as per our process, like business team, whenever a project is done, then we also need to inform business team, right? They needs to be informed. So this way, actually, we can, as you see, like by applying these, I mean, who will be responsible, who will be accountable, who needs to be consulted, who needs to be informed. So we can, I mean, clear all the confusion and all the ambiguities. So this is just a straightforward thing that, see, it actually help in even process documentation, and we can implement these RACI metrics in even in our practical life, or I mean personal life as well. So let us go to this the next step, Akhil. Maybe let us make this interactive. So let me tell the user story so that you can help me to update the RACI metrics here. Maybe you can give your input to, so that I can update it here. So imagine a family is going to a holiday, right, where family members are mom, then dad, and 2 kids, and mom want to follow RACI, so that before going to holiday, 5 tasks need to be completed following the RACI model. Okay, so as you see, I have we have actually updated here on the top those role, dad, mom, children, and on the left there is, I mean, those 5 tasks we have listed, like book accommodation, then we need to prepare packing, then we need to take the passport, right? We need to prepare the car so that we can go to the airport, then we need to load the toys for the kids. So maybe it's now it's your time, so maybe you can decide here, like who will be responsible, who will be accountable, who will be consulted and informed for those activities. So is it clear to everyone?
Accommodation, I think,
Yeah.
dad or mom,
Yep.
anybody.
So he has in A, right? Accountable.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
is responsible? Both of them would be responsible.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe
Mom
yeah.
should be
just-
informed.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
children
no
should be
right and
consulted.
wrong over here. Basically what we are trying to achieve is there should be one person accountable and one person responsible in each row to get things done. And otherwise, there might be cases wherein you don't achieve something.
Right.
I
Yes.
think booking will be dad will be responsible, mom will be accountable because they are good at making people, making the husbands accountable, and children can be informed that, hey, we got a booking. So there.
Should be consulted. Otherwise, they will also create issues.
Yeah, if they're big enough.
Yeah, if big enough, then
Small
concept,
also.
small, then just inform. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the user history, as you see, those are kids because they needs to, I mean, load the toys, right?
yes, so it goes
Yeah.
as
So we can
inform.
consider them as children, maybe.
Right.
That's it, Akhil. I'm taking this to my wife.
So packing, usually mom is the responsible person, and that can help. But so we can call that accountable. And children sometimes, like, since they're very tiny and they have toys, so they should be informed only.
Maybe consulted also, because sometimes mom will ask, like, should I take this or should I take that for you?
They are too tiny because they have toys. So consulting with them, yeah, it can be done. We can show them respect.
Consulting, what would they want to wear or something of that sort? Which color?
Yes, or maybe the toys.
Akram, you have no idea. Even if it's a kid, they have even more opinion.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's true.
And it will become something else entirely.
All right.
Passports, I think it should be similar to only our
Same,
dad
packing.
responsible. Mom would be accountable and children won't be involved here.
Yeah. I think everything goes for the next one as well.
Yep, RA. dad won't be involved here. Mom would be responsible, and children would be accountable here.
This is how you have the relationship with your kids, right? So maybe you force them to pack it,
Right.
you
That
ask
also
them to
works.
do it.
Yes, that also works. Dad can be consulted if he feels like there's too much luggage.
Wow. I think Rohit has already done that. It feels that way. So I think, yeah, this was a small activity, but the thing what we were trying to achieve over here is basically this. If you see, each row has one person responsible, one person accountable. That actually helps us in if something goes wrong, you always know whom to actually check with. Okay. So I think
And here is another thing, Akhil. So here actually, as you have defined those responsibility, accountability, so there is nothing wrong and right as of now, because we have not discussed with mom and dad, right? So once they will discuss with each other, like who is going to take those responsibilities, so then finalize this, then only we can validate this, that okay, so this is the correct, who will be the accountable person, who will be the responsible person, who needs to be informed and who needs to be consulted. Yeah.
let's go back.
Okay, so there are some rules, I mean RACI rules, so that we can, I mean, avoid, actually we can say this, avoid rules. Okay, so if we see there are too many responsible person, then we need to avoid, then we need to avoid too many accountable. So in, I mean, special case, maybe there could be like one or two accountable person, but there is I mean, it highly suggests that there needs to be only one accountable person. Then we need to avoid too many I mean informed person, you know, like otherwise there will be lots of back and forth making their decision. Then we need to also avoid too many consultant, and we need to avoid mixed roles, so that we get the better output from a person. Then, so those are red zone. I mean, if there is no responsible person, no accountable person, that means like ultimately we can even fail on getting the job done, right? So those are in red zone. And if you see all boxes are full, that means like too many people involved, so it could be a gatekeeper or blocker for us to get the job done. So those are the basic, I mean, a very simple rule. If we follow this, then it will be more I mean effective to execute the strategy. Yeah.
The next one. Next one is basically pros and cons of RACI. Now, even though it's a good thing, but there are still few cons of it, and which we should actually avoid using RACI in those areas. So we'll cover pros first. Maintain clear and open communication with stakeholders. So once you have everything on the book, I think everyone knows what their responsibilities are, where they have to get involved, so there's no clutter over there. Avoid overwhelming team members with tasks or unnecessary information. So now when you are actually, if there are meetings which are actually taking place in the project itself, and you are actually not involved on that particular task, if we don't have a process in place, you will be actually invited to all the meetings which take place in the project. So we can actually easily avoid this when you are actually not listed anywhere on that particular row. You don't have to get involved in that particular thing at all. So we can actually avoid this kind of scenarios. Avoid too many cooks offering inputs on any task. So if we don't have this in place, then there might be like a lot of inputs coming in. Even though there is only one person who should be consulted, there might be a lot of other inputs which come in. So that can be avoided. Help stakeholder prepare for project future impact on their work. So I think the stakeholders know they are what is requested from them, so they already know what needs to be done in future as well. And now going to the cons, you might be able to spend, yeah, so it's basically if you have a simple small project, like maybe one 30-hour project where just one developer is there and there's one PM, so everyone knows what their responsibility are. There's nothing complicated over there. If you try to apply RACI, it's basically waste of time, since you already know what needs to be done and whom to hold accountable. So there's no scope of doing this. If you do it, I think it's additional thing and might just lead to waste of time rather than any fruitful outcome. Then roles are rigid and might not fully illustrate team members' take in a project. So just consider this. There is one senior developer, there is team lead also involved in a project. Now, sometimes senior developer is actually consulted for a lot of other things, but since his role is a developer, we cannot actually place lot of roles over there. It should be limited. So we usually will put a senior developer in dev's role, and there will be a separate one for TL. So even though he is doing a bit additional work there of consultation and those kind of stuff, his role will be under dev and it won't actually be on paper. So that can be a problem, but it is a very small problem considering the bigger picture of what we are trying to solve, and its formality and yeah, so in case we don't actually use it, once we actually do it, then it's a waste of time. So we actually shouldn't have a lot of RACI metrics in place. Like we have it for all the projects, then you won't actually have time to refer to everything. So basically, you have it only where you find there is a bigger problem you want to solve. You put it in place, achieve it, and then you complete that RACI metrics rather than just piling it up. Okay, so it should be actually time bound what you are trying to do. So yeah, that's pretty much about the RACI metrics.